Welcome everyone. Today we are going to consider the prevalence and significance of the dragon symbol. Symbols are powerful mechanisms for making sense of our world. Words can provide our minds with information and knowledge, but symbols can provide our hearts with insight and wisdom. Recurring symbols serve to bring some aspect of reality into our conscious awareness that might otherwise remain hidden. It's what Nietzsche referred to as the unnoticed omnipresent. Carl Jung put it this way, quote, "Considered from the standpoint of realism, the symbol is not, of course, an external truth, but it is psychologically true," end quote. Few symbols are as recognizable and ubiquitous as the dragon. From ancient Sumerian clay tablets to the Game of Thrones TV show, dragons have persisted because they are such meaningful symbols, despite not being literally real. The dragon symbol has a distinct quality, but a great variety of expressions and meanings. Medusa, Moby Dick, Godzilla, and countless other serpents and sea monsters are symbolically synonymous. They direct our attention to a recurring and distinct motif that is one of the most powerful influencers on our psyche. Therefore, understanding the true meaning behind the symbol of the dragon is a tremendous aid in making sense of ourselves and our world. The dragon has dual meaning and can represent malevolent or benevolent forces. On the positive side, the dragon is often depicted as a serpentine figure with wings, representing the union of spirit and matter. It is associated with good fortune, healing, and wisdom. On the negative side, the malevolent dragon is often depicted as a twisted and coiling sea serpent of vast size, which is associated with chaos and disorder. The focus of this presentation will be on the negative or malevolent aspect of the dragon, which is more common in the Western tradition. When we are able to identify, recognize, and know exactly what the malevolent dragon symbolizes, we can be much more effective in countering its encroachment into our lives. One way of knowing a thing is by studying its opposite. Like yin and yang, the dragon and the heroic dragon slayer represent an eternal struggle between good and evil and light and darkness. It is the hero or dragon slayer who seeks to bring down heaven from above, and it is the dragon or hero slayer who seeks to bring up chaos from below. This polarity is established in the earliest accounts of the dragon versus hero motif. Ancient Mesopotamian texts tell of the valiant warrior Marduk, who defeated the watery dragon Tiamat. Ancient Vedic texts of India tell of Indra, the hero chosen by the gods to defeat the serpentine dragon Vritra. In ancient Egyptian texts, the solar deity Ra defeats the evil dragon Apophis, who was known as the Lord of Chaos. In the Norse tradition, the thunder god Thor must defeat his archenemy, the Midgard or world serpent. In ancient Greece, Zeus uses the fire of lightning, which he shoots from heaven to earth, to defeat the dragon Typhon, who uses the fire of the volcano to shoot from earth to heaven. These accounts provide deep insight into a primordial essence that is woven into the fabric of our reality. It represents a divine antagonism, where each side has an opposing goal. The hero is progressive and wants truth and the light of creation to be unobstructed. The dragon is regressive and wants to return to the darkness of unity, an undifferentiated primordial chaos, which was the state of the world before creation. As the dragon works tirelessly to overturn divine order and bring chaos, the hero's primary task is to slay the dragon so that life and creation can flourish. Now that the dragon has been established as a progenitor of chaos, let us look at its specific behavioral characteristics to gain insight as to how it achieves its goal. The first behavioral aspect of the chaos-breeding dragon that we will consider is the dragon as Slanderer. In ancient Greek texts, we read of Apollo defeating the serpent Python. Here, Python is understood as an allegory of false belief. Python, representing the darkness of ignorance, is slain by Apollo, who represents the sun, the light, and the truth. Apollo crushing the serpent is an allegory for truth and light overcoming the regressive darkness of false beliefs. Here, falsehood and the disorder or chaos associated with it is portrayed as the greatest evil, whereas truth is regarded as the greatest good. It has been said that God is truth. It has also been said that truth is God. The dragon opposes God and therefore opposes truth. It has been said dragons are not real, yet they destroy the one thing that is real, which is the truth. Dragons are diabolical in nature, meaning they are devilish or cunning in an evil way. Like the word devil, diabolical traces back to the Greek word diabolos, which literally means slanderer. The greatest trick of the dragon is making you believe that he does not exist. The dragon is most powerful when he is denied for who he is. The dragon has the power to be cunning and subtle and invisible. It has the power to slither into control behind a mask of compassion. In the Garden of Eden, Eve states, "The serpent beguiled me." The serpent is a notorious confuser of categories and flagrant confounder of understanding that speaks with a forked tongue. The dragon is a symbol for deception. It does not want you to know the truth. It is the purveyor of feverish dreams and nightmares, the inhibitor of consciousness that can put someone under a spell. They entice and corrupt and entrance with a magical gaze. It has the quality of being inherently hypnotizing. They can encumber their victim in the grip of a terrible delusion. So the first method the dragon uses to breed chaos is lies and deception. The second behavioral characteristic of the dragon, which enables it to breed chaos, is its marauding aspect. One example can be seen in the story of Beowulf, where the vengeful and vindictive dragon burns everything in sight. But there are many examples across millennia showing that dragons represent a well-developed capacity for mayhem. Typically, the dragon has a lair in the region from which it makes depredations upon the local population. They lay waste to the land and ravage the cattle, depriving the community of proper nourishment. They abduct women and children and hoard the gold. They have the power to poison and wreak havoc. They are the symbols of all the hazards that one may find in their particular landscape. That which makes the landscape harsh, venomous, hazardous. They prevent you from drinking from the sacred spring of wisdom, which would have led to cardionosis. Instead, they want you to be a victim of the serpent's venom, which leads to cardiotoxin. The dragon's venom has a well-known effect of disrupting the flow of blood and stopping the heart. The dragon breeds chaos by marauding the realm and making the people devoid of courage. Sleeplessly and tirelessly, they make the environment unsafe and keep the people in retreat. So far, we have seen the dragon as a breeder of chaos in its deceiving aspect and its marauding aspect. Our third element will be the dragon as an allegory for the mob or the crowd. In the second labor of Heracles, he battles the Hydra, a serpentine sea monster with 9 heads. Heracles kills the 9-headed Hydra using a golden sword given to him by Athena, who represents armed wisdom. Hydra is a metaphor for the mob. Quote, "A mob is a monster with hands enough but no heart and little brains. Every numerous assembly is a mob. Everything there depends on instantaneous turns." End quote. The dragon and the crowd are single-bodied but many-headed. Like the mob or the crowd, the many-headed dragon can turn in an instant. One moment this way, another moment it's going that way. It's an allegory for mob rule, peer pressure, conformity, tyranny. These mobs are often bloodthirsty, bringing in the connection between dragons and vampires. Quote, "The world is in a constant conspiracy against the brave. It's the age-old struggle, the roar of the crowd on the one side and the voice of your conscience on the other." End quote. According to the Stoics, one should cultivate individual virtue and beware the serpentum turba, which describe the disruptive influence of the crowd, the mob, or the multitude. Seneca wrote, quote, "Avoid, I cry, whatever is approved of by the mob." End quote. The Greek word turba means crowd. The origin of the English words, such as turbulent and turmoil, the serpentum turba was the enemy of Stoic virtue. It was portrayed as the venomous serpents on the banks and in the pools of otherwise life-sustaining water. So, one of the dangers present in the landscape was the toxic quality of the turbulent mob. To be a participant or a victim of the mob could lead to the loss of one's honor or life. According to the Stoics, in order to drink the life-sustaining waters of a good conscience, one needed to avoid the life-destroying venom of the crowd. The fourth behavioral characteristic of the dragon is greed, which is symbolized by the hoarding of gold. The dragon and the hero are in opposition. Each seeks different outcomes, whereas the righteous king always has the quality of generosity, sharing, and abundance. The dragon is an avaricious hoarder who obstructs the flow of wealth and resources. The dragon breeds chaos through greed. The dragon is a constrictor. The dragon hoards gold in a hidden treasury. It has a ravenous appetite. It is a hoarder that can never have enough. Philostratus described the dragon's love of gold this way, quote, "For this creature is said to be keen on gold, and to love and hug close whatever gold thing it sees." End quote. If the hero wants to redistribute the wealth to the local community, it will have to retrieve the gold in the dragon's lair. But the dragon is a formidable foe. It never sleeps. Like snakes, dragons have no eyelids and cannot close its eyes or even blink. It is ever wakeful and ever watchful. With multiple heads, it can see in every direction. Since it never closes its eyes, it is also immortal. So dragons are formidable guardians and a symbol for greed. They represent that which stands fiercely between items of value and humans. The fifth and final aspect of today's presentation will look at the dragon as a symbol for the terrors of the mind. Dragons are also symbolic of the venomous and pestilential creatures of the mind. Serpents reside in our potential paradise. They possess the power to invade and corrupt. They are the terrors of ignorance, deadly anger, the shock of remorse, and the poison of sin, jealousy, that which damages and wounds our moral architecture, regret, shame, guilt, abduction, seduction, corruption. Dragons are in the depths, the desert, the darkness, in the earth, in the underworld, the unconscious. They represent the pit of despair. The dragon is that which induces, then exploits our fear, disturbing the still waters of the mind. They elicit a fear response. They make you run away or freeze. Medusa has turned many into stone, but the hero Perseus, representing virtue and courage with the aid of Athena, who once again represents armed wisdom, is able to overcome Medusa, who represents the debilitating terrors of the mind. So we have seen the dragon as a powerful symbol, a timeless symbol, for a regressive force that breeds chaos through deceiving, marauding, and hoarding. It is an allegory for the mob and the debilitating terrors of the mind. This symbol teaches us to be extremely cautious and vigilant with the dragon, for it is emblematic of the things that can and will kill us. But if we study the dragon, we can come to be its victor rather than its victim. Ultimately, the dragon, in both its positive and negative aspects, symbolizes that which draws out the parts of humankind that are of higher and divine origin. Edmund Burke has said, quote, "He that wrestles with us strengthens our nerves and sharpens our skills. Our antagonist is our helper." End quote. The dragon asks us all, will you be my victim or my victor? To be the victor, the hero must integrate the dragon, requiring us to be more watchful, more cunning, more ruthless, and more skillful. Ultimately, the dragon is our beautiful enemy and a very wise teacher. It is the battle with the dragon which brings powerful, otherwise dormant aspects of ourselves into our conscious awareness. So, I hope you found this presentation helpful and that it will help you make better sense of the world that we live in. If you found it beneficial, please share it with others. Have a beautiful rest of your day, everyone.